What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J&B Unsupervised. In case you don't know, that's Brandon. I'm Jacob, and this is episode 37, and we're going to dive right into it. So, we did a new drink today. Crown Royal Apple has a new box, by the way, so definitely if you can, go get this one. The box is great. The bottle is amazing, much slimmer and taller than the previous one, so go try it out. But our drink this week was Squirt and Crown Royal Apple. Definitely go check this out. This is an all-around type of seasonal drink. You'll see that video up on our YouTube page and Facebook page at some point this weekend. So make sure you go follow us on Facebook at Unsupervised Podcast on Facebook and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, man. So, getting right into today's episode, I want to start off with video games. We both love the game. We love the game. Yeah. And we play a lot of 2K. Yeah. And we play Madden, and we play college football. So I want to start with college football. College football came out, big high. Do you think the high of college football has kind of just died down a lot? Or do you think people are still like enjoying the college football experience?
Well, you had 2K came out about a month or so after.
Yes, it did.
So I feel kind of like you have people bounce kind of back and forth. A lot of people that got fed up with 2K and the shooting and everything that comes with 2K.
And then you got Madden. Obviously, Madden came out too, not too long.
I think people that are playing
Madden tried to attach itself to college football, so people would
tells you what Madden really is. The gameplay is way better on college football, in my opinion, versus Madden. And people that
I've enjoyed the college football experience.
The people that struggled with 2K and the shooting and everything said, screw this game and they jump right back over and play college football. So college football is what we've all been wanting. We all still play.
I still play it.
And, like, the grind is there.
The grind is real.
And I can't honestly wait for them to see what comes out next year for college football, what kind of additions they do, if they can add the NIL money into it.
Yes.
Because the one thing I was really hoping that they did with the, where you get to build, like, your dynasty.
Yes.
Was to have more, like, the transfer portal is there, but, like, you have, like, it's a bunch of, like, 2 stars and, like, 3 stars. And then once you grind it out, even if you do like a small school that's like a 2 or 3 star, eventually if you're good at the game and you play long enough, you'll be a 5-star where you get the big names. Like, so you don't really want the small 2 or 3 stars. Like, it'd be nice if the NIL money was there.
So you still think the high for college football is there?
I think
the potential.
I think it's still climbing. Like, I don't think.
And then obviously, Madden has taken a big nosedive. Obviously, with college football out there, Madden's trying to attach itself to college football. Well, it did attach itself to college football.
There was a bundle.
And so, but let's talk about 2K because that's been the game we've really been on. We're big 2K fanatics. We're going into season 2. Yeah. They did drop a big patch. Mm-hmm. Part 1 already happened. Part 2 comes obviously Friday. Honestly, overall, what is your overall experience with this 2K? Like, overall,
personally, the gameplay is obviously the same. I mean, a lot of it's copy and paste. But what I don't like is for almost 2 years with 2K, they were like green or miss.
Yes.
Like green or miss. Like there's no in between. There's that skill gap. Like if you either green it or you're going to miss it. And I always thought maybe there should have been some kind of leniency where, like, if you're just left wide open, like, if you're in the NBA, you left wide open, you're going to have a higher chance to hit it. I mean, like, wide open. Not, like, open like somebody kind of got in your grill.
But you're wide open, yes.
But in this 2K, they made making layups really difficult.
The real player percentage
the real player percentage came back. And
everybody's running real player percentage.
If you don't run real player percentage and you can green your layups and your
proud of you. I can't.
Honestly, kudos to you with the 90 layup.
Yeah, I know.
But that said, though, like, that I can be on board with the real player percentage.
You got the rhythm shooting.
But the rhythm shooting's back, and a bunch of PlayStation people are crying because of Xbox players have elite controllers.
Fuck you, PlayStation!
And we can rename, rebrand, we can re-put our buttons
now,
and paddles
to be fair for you guys that don't know, PlayStation does have pro controllers like we do, but they are not allowed to customize their paddles like we are. It's not cheating. I can't help that. We are allowed to have a little bit of
Well, the notion out there is that, so what they're saying is, so we have paddles on the back of the Elite controllers on Xbox, and we can tell them to do whatever we want them to do. Rhythm shooting is the stick. Up, down, sideways, diagonal, whatever you want, because you don't have to go up and down on the stick. You can do I go side to side. You go up, down.
I go up, down.
But you can tell the paddles to do whatever you want. Everyone thinks, oh, it's automatic green, it's a Zen. Because that's something that they did was you can't Zen. And you can see in the top 10 that it's mainly Xbox. Very few PlayStation.
If you played 2K last year, you saw a lot of the top 10 was PlayStation because a lot of people were using Zens. And they got rid of that, and you started to see that Xbox players are the supreme players on 2K. You're seeing it.
In our opinion,
but like there are 3 PlayStation players in the top 10 currently, and kudos to them. They're grinding it out.
But those are bigs.
Yeah, they are.
I think 2 of them are bigs. But they took away Zens. Like they made it harder. You can't use Zens, and if you get caught using Zens, you lose your
regardless of what Zen you're trying to use. Like people have tried to download certain stuff,
certain software,
and it's booting you right out, which is good.
And you're losing your shit, which is I'm here for that. Cause like, why are you cheating? Like
we're paying too much money. When you're paying $150 for the game, and you're thinking about you're probably add another $100 to $200 for VC. Like I don't have time for the cheaters. Like bro, it's like. Grind it out. Like, just grind it out, bro. Like, the fact that you got to cheat just lets me know you probably shouldn't be playing
games. I think what they were after, they got when they try to get the games more realistic and close games where there's not so
Well, they definitely don't want you dunking in this 2K. They want you laying the ball.
Biggest thing. On shooting, I think they wanted more realistic percentages, and I think you're getting more realistic percentages.
Yes, you are.
But they really don't want you dunking. Like, you could have a 99 driving dunk, and you're still going to lay it up.
Yes, you are.
You could have a 99 standing dunk, and you're still going to put up a little close shot, which
the one thing I have to say that I've had a problem with the 2K community this year, more than any other 2K that we played, is being sold on.
Oh,
the community's got to change, guys. Like he plays center. He suffers the most. Like let me keep it 100. I play power forward. Our bro Tanner, he plays small forward. So we play 3 through 5. The amount of guards that we get that sell because, oh my God, you can't score, or we're having a game, like, and you sell, like, you want to lose a record? Like, I'm generally confused. 2K community, we need to be better, we can be better, and we need to do better. Stop the selling. If you don't want to play 5v5 in the rec, then don't go. They have proving grounds. They got the 1v1s, the 2v2s, the 3v3s. Like, they have the park. Go play that. But don't bring that shit to the rec, bro. Like, and that's my biggest thing with the
guards, and in my opinion, since I do play the big, in my opinion, guards think they need their touches, they got to bring the ball up, and they need those shots. No matter if it's a good shot or not, I got to shoot the ball because I'm a guard or I'm a point guard, so I need to have it. No. In my case, that's not how that works at all.
No, but what I wanted to get to, obviously, we have our 2K.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel, we have our Madden.
Yeah.
We know how we feel. We have our college football.
Yeah.
Is it time to reboot college basketball? Is it time for us to give us that? Like, I would like to see what that could be. I mean, we saw at college football, they set the bar high. Madden's obviously going to struggle competing with college. I don't think Madden's going to be able to compete with college football. College football set the bar too high. Madden can't reach that. I need to know from you, and you guys let us know as well, is it time to give us a reboot of college basketball?
I don't see.
Would you like to see that?
Yeah, I'd be here for that. So it's another college game.
Remember, we used to have it before. It was great.
We used it before, and it was really fun. I'd be more curious to see because again, it'd be one of those things where you can create your own player, like just like you can college football in Madden, or you can like create your dynasty, or be the coach or whatever of your favorite team and recruit in the transfer portal. It'd be just like college football, and it'd be kind of a copy and paste.
Yes.
But like on the basketball level, so you really get best of both worlds. Honestly, I think it's really about time to bring that aspect into it. Because a lot of us, like in Madden years ago, I'd love franchise mode because I'd love to build the team.
Yes.
Mainly because the Chiefs back in the day were trash, and I got to build them up and be good. Now it's like, cool, I don't even have to do that.
Yes.
And then like after a while, the players that age out, and then you're just left with a bunch of like just randomized players, which is cool though. In college football or college basketball, because like you get a bunch of just young players, so like you don't really quote unquote be attached to like a player, then they retire.
I just think video games now are at an all-time high, and it's just time to really kind of give people what they want. I like that video games are trying to do their best to go away with the cheating players and move them.
Well, Xbox is.
Sony is still not there, but let us know what your favorite video game is of the sports games, or just games in general. Let us know what you like and how you feel about
GTA 6.
GTA is coming soon, bro. Like in to me, like, there's so much going on with GTA because we just don't know when is it going to be released. We know it's supposed to be massive, and they could, like, we know GTA, they could ask for whatever they want. People are going to purchase it, and it's going to be the biggest money. Think about, like, GTA 5 is still at an all-time high popularity. When you drop GTA 6, bro, like, everybody, the gaming world right now is at an all-time high, and I'm here for it. Like, gaming is a getaway for me. Like,
it's supposed to drop in 2025, is what it says. GTA 6 is taking us back to the Vice City, where the original game was set in 1986.
Damn.
This is the new 2025 release. It's set to take place in what appears to be modern-day setting. Rockstar revealed will be heading to the state of... which is home of the neon-soaked streets of Vice City and beyond. Though what's really kind of intriguing about GTA 6, I heard a lot of people kind of talking about, like, you're actually going to be potentially could be able to earn actual, like, real life currency.
Yes, that's a big thing.
That is one. Really don't know how you're going to be how that would really work, but
if you're able to incorporate that into the game, that's wild. But like when GTA drops, and I'm talking video games in general, I don't care what you play, that is going to be like. I don't know how you're going to compete because we've been waiting for well over a decade for a new GTA game, and when it drops, dude, like,
I'm not like high on GTA 6 or like the Grand Theft Auto games. I have GTA 5, and I played it out, but it's like the hype around it is there, and I think even people that like aren't like humongous on Grand Theft Auto or will be there just potentially for the hype to see what the hype will all be about, even if they're a little late on the train to get it, they're going to want it just because of the hype. Yeah, I just know I'm running like an external hard drive.
I just know like
to be able to contain.
I just know like one of the things is GTA can set their price for whatever they want it to be, and they know people are going to buy it.
Rumors of like almost like
$150. Yes,
like $150,
and people are going to buy it. Like there's just no question. But like I said, let us know what video game you like to play. Drop it down in the comments. We'd love to know, and we'll talk about it more. But moving on, so we have college football. College football has been great. I want to talk
$70.
But the current,
just like the base model,
just the base, yeah, that's about right. That's normal about your base model when you think about all the other games, about $60.
Well, theoretically, so that's not overly.
That's not overly priced, but like I said, Grand Theft Auto could really set the price to whatever they want it to be, and they'll get it. But talking college football, we had a big game last week between Oregon and Ohio State. Oregon was number 3 and Ohio State was number 2 at the time. Ohio State did lose that game 31-32 to Oregon. Mm-hmm. Now, Oregon found a loophole to get 12 men on the field to get a penalty that the NCAA did do a investigation on, and they changed it very quickly so that you can no longer do that loophole. But what is your thoughts about Oregon knowing about a loophole to win a game, dog? Like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, dog. Like, that's what I gotta say.
It's not necessarily cheating.
No,
just
but
using the full
rule book to your
end. Bill Belichick did it.
Yeah, well,
the Titans ex-head coach did it against Bill Belichick.
Yes. So, but like I said, that was a great game. The NCAA did change that 12-man penalty loophole rule. So if you don't know about it, definitely go check that out. But that was a game right there. But sticking on college football, we had the AP Top 25 come out. We have our top 5. We have Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and Georgia. My question to you is, because I like to lean these questions more to you, of the top 5, who's fake? Who's the fakest in the top 5? Like, when you look at the top 5, who do you think, man, I don't know if you're real? Me personally, I was about to say Penn State. I look at Penn State like, bro, like, I don't know if Penn State's real, dog. Like I don't know.
Texas has taken on a lot of,
Texas, to me, I believe, has a legit shot to win the national championship.
This is their first year in the SEC, which they came from the Big 12.
Yes.
Same with Oklahoma, and they
number 1, baby. Texas
Oklahoma.
is number 1.
And Oregon has, always been there, and they've looked really good, and they've taken on all competitors. Georgia's been Georgia.
You know what you're getting from Georgia and Ohio State. But
and
Penn
Ohio
State
is Ohio State, because Oregon and Ohio State, they faced off, and like you said, it was
31-32. Like, it was a fucking nail biter, baby.
But Penn State, to me, like, if they went to head-to-head with Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, or
I think Penn State's getting blown the fuck out. I
would take all of them against. I would take the field versus Penn State. Penn State's losing to all 4 of those.
Yeah,
you could even potentially, if you went 6-7, Miami and Alabama, like
maybe Miami, but Alabama.
I would potentially in a playoff setting. I would take Bama.
Bama, yeah.
Regular season, I don't know. Bama's been obviously a little shaky with that loss they had to.
Well, Vandy. The last 2 weeks for Alabama has been very shaky. The loss to Vanderbilt, and you barely beat South Carolina.
Though being Georgia, I think got them versus Vanderbilt. But I mean, South Carolina is a division foe, so I mean, those games aren't always the easiest. But again, you can tell Nick Saban ain't there.
So
you can tell Nick Saban ain't there.
So I want to ask you real quick, of the top 5, we're gonna go through.
Mm-hmm.
Of 100%, what do you give Texas winning the national championship? Of 100%, what do you give them?
Out of 100%?
Out of 100%. So 0 to 100%, what do you give them? Give me a rating. I would like to know. What do you? Come on,
I would say like an 80% chance.
Okay, 80%.
So what about 10, like 8?
Okay, so Oregon. What do you give Oregon?
80% chance.
You still give them an 80% chance.
I mean, I know that math ain't gonna all math out, but I think they're.
And then Penn State, obviously, we think who's the fakest.
I think they have like a.
I would say
like 60% chance to win.
60%.
You don't get a 6-0 on accident.
No, Ohio State.
I'll give like a 70% chance.
70%, and then Georgia.
I'd give like an 85.
85. All right, so
they've been there and done that, and they have the resume, and they have the culture that is set there out of everybody in the top 5.
And then speaking of the top 25,
okay,
Army and Navy are ranked for the first time since 1960, guys. This is crazy. Army is ranked 23, Navy is ranked 25, and they are both undefeated.
6-0 is Army, 5-0 is Navy. And they're both undefeated, obviously, in conference. That's crazy. Kudos to Army and Navy.
1960 since the last time that they were both ranked together. Crazy. I just personally want to know, Michigan is ranked 24th. Why the fuck is Navy I feel like Michigan got 2 losses. We have 2 teams in the top 25 that have 2 losses. That is Ole Miss, I believe, and Michigan are in the top 25, and they have 2 losses on the resume. Everybody else is either undefeated or 1 loss.
Well, some losses aren't as equal to undefeated.
That's fair.
Because you could lose Ohio State lost to Oregon. Well, that's not a bad loss.
No.
Now, Michigan's losses aren't necessarily bad losses too. They lost too. Now, how they lost and the score might say a little bit different of a story, but you would take Michigan. When you look at Michigan versus Army or Navy, the money's going to be on Michigan to win.
Yes. So, we have to talk about this again. Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty. Travis Hunter was on his podcast talking about why he feels like he should be.
Well, Boise State
is
15th in the nation at 5-1, and their only
loss was Oregon, and it was a nail biter, baby.
To number 2, Oregon.
Yes.
And Ashton Genty still had a game against Oregon. And he's on pace
to break all of Barry Sanders' records,
rushing yards and total touchdowns.
But you brought up an interesting stat or an interesting take. Of all the Barry Sanders games when he did it, how many of those games did he not have to play in the second half, or did he get shut down? Ashton Genty is literally playing like a half of football and getting shut down because he already had 200-plus rushing, 3.
They already blew out the team.
They already blew him out.
Running the ball. And, to me, though, running the ball and a running back collecting, stats, to me, is a lot harder than a quarterback collecting stats. Sure, you have the offensive line that has to pass block or run block.
Yes.
But running the ball, you have to still get through, you have 4 or 5 guys on the line. You still have to get through 6 other dudes.
Again, I know we've talked about it. We talked about it last week. People dogging on Ashton Genty for being at Boise State. I commend him for not leaving. He didn't go to a big school. He's doing it.
Well, he didn't really. The first 2 years, as we have already talked about, wasn't like he was setting the world on fire like he is this year.
Yes.
But people are really kind of docking him because, the competition you're going against. It's not like he's a quarterback and he's just mollywhopping everybody. He's a running back that is doing this day in and day out, averaging almost 10 yards a carry.
The same people that bitch about, he's not playing nobody. When you think about your Georgias, your Ohio States, and who do you really play in the beginning of the season? We overhype them. They pay schools to come play you so they can beat the dog shit, and then we overhype them. So at the same time, I'm not really here for that argument. You don't choose who you play. You go out and you play who you want and you perform.
For the most part,
and you got to go out and perform. Like, he's doing this week in and week out. So, kudos to him. But
the fact that people are trying to knock him because of his competition, you do have to understand, though, like, his competition might not seem great, but they're probably, like, right there on the same level as a Boise State.
Yes. And he's
level
making them look
like the
children out there. But Travis Hunter did go on his podcast and talk about why he feels like he should be the Heisman winner over Ashton. Do you give any, like, what do you give Travis Hunter? We obviously know him at Colorado playing both sides of the ball at an elite level, playing wide receiver and quarterback.
It's a great story that he's playing both sides. It's not a bad loss. They lost to Kansas State last week. And
Travis did get hurt in that game.
He did get hurt, so he wasn't able to play, but he got hurt because he was playing both sides of the ball. I think he got hurt on offense. I think it might have been a concussion. I might be kind of wrong on that. I didn't catch all of the game. Just know he didn't play all the game. But they lost to Kansas State, who is ranked 17th in the nation. But if they would have won, they would have propelled them potentially, I think, probably into the top 25.
Yes.
And to me, to be considered for the Heisman, you have to be
in the top 25?
Top 25, top 30 team at least.
Granted, Colorado is 4-2. They have 2 losses on the year.
They are, and they will get to a bowl game, but I mean, you're just not going to have the record or really the attention
that he's
necessary. Like, he might be. Like,
he's being. Ashton's being mentioned in Barry Sanders' aura. Like that's incredible. I mean,
Barry Sanders is one of one, and you're gonna get mentioned.
Yes,
and that kind of air is rare.
But do you think that when you think about the Heisman, and to me, is it just those 2 guys? Like, do you think there's?
Well, I think Milroe from Bama is also another one, and I think also the
Cam Ward, Miami.
Yes, I think those dudes are probably we'll round up probably about the top 4. Maybe a 5th guy might sneak in there, but I do think Travis Hunter will be invited to the Heisman because he is playing both sides.
But he's not taking it home.
No, I don't think he'll probably end up being 5th overall. I think they ranked 5, so I think he'll be 5 or 4.
Okay, that's fair.
Unless Colorado spins it all, wins the Big 12, and he stays healthy and he puts on a show, then maybe. But outside of that, no. Right now, there's nobody's even close. It's Ashton Gentry, 2, and then Milroe, and then probably Travis Hunter.
That's fair.
My personal opinion.
Anything else you want to touch on college football? College football, the football play is getting.
I have to touch on our Kansas Jayhawks. What a disappointment! Man. They're redoing it. They're remodeling the Kansas Jayhawks home stadium, and they're obviously not home, but they played some games at KC Sporting, and they're playing some games at Arrowhead.
Yeah. For
home games, but they've been a disappointment. Not
what I thought we were getting,
but not the defense, and not the core on offense, but the quarterback. The QB position has been a humongous letdown. What he was 2 years ago,
he's not that dude no more.
He was not He's not that, and then he missed last year. For you guys who don't know, he missed he had a lot of injury problems, but it was his back, and he missed. And we all thought I personally thought we were going to be bowl eligible and knocking ball on the Big 12 championship door. Nah, this isn't our year. I wouldn't even say it's like.
And it's sad too because of all the steps that we have taken to get to where we were to take the amount of steps back this year.
Well, I don't think we're necessarily taking a step back. I think it's clear and obvious that we're a team that is still. I think we still have a great staff.
Yeah,
I think we're creating a great environment here in Lawrence, Kansas. But I think we are a team that needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's going to come down to recruiting in the transfer portal and the staff to go and get somebody. They thought they had the dude. We all thought they had the dude, and it was clear as day that he's cost us 2 or 3 games.
He talked so much in the offseason about and it just
was in the before the season started. He was a little bit in the Heisman hype. He was also mentioned being a top 5 quarterback going into the NFL draft.
Not anymore.
That's not happening. I mean, he's fell flat, and he's cost KU multiple games with bad interceptions, and he just was not the dude.
Been very disappointed. What we thought we were getting from our Kansas Jayhawks, we did not get. So we're disappointed.
But every game has been really close, so that's why I don't think that it's necessarily a setback. You just see that there's a glaring hole there at quarterback.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. Is there anything else you would like to touch on?
No, not really. More, I think for me, I'm more curious to see what the college football playoffs look like. I mean, like we've talked about before, which Brandon has said multiple times, he is not a fan of the 12-team playoff picture that we have now. But I'm curious to see what Texas does. Like you said, this is their first year in the SEC, and they're number one. Obviously, Quentin Edwards went down. Archie Manning stepped in. We got a glimpse of what Archie can be. And I truly believe Archie's not going to leave early. I think Archie's going to stay. There's no reason to. He doesn't need the money.
Well, the quarterback's leaving for the draft next year.
Yeah, so like we know you got a great glimpse of what Archie is. Was there some things that you saw for me, with Archie, you saw the improvement from when he entered college. Like, everybody didn't think he could be that dude, and you saw that he can be that dude. Like, his running ability, Peyton and Eli, they didn't have that. He got some jets on his legs, baby.
Well, his Cooper, the forgotten Manning brother, he was actually a wide receiver that committed to, I believe, Tennessee. I might be wrong, but I think it's Tennessee, and it was found out like his junior year that he had a career-ending back injury. Well, it wasn't like he had back problems.
Yeah.
And if he got hit just right, he would be paralyzed. So there went his end of his career, and then followed, Peyton and Eli, both the quarterback. But he was a wide receiver. And obviously, as everybody know, Archie was a quarterback in the NFL. And so, I'm not so necessarily surprised that the dude got wheels, because their dad had wheels. He was a very mobile quarterback, but his dad had wheels at wide receiver.
For me personally, this college football season, Texas, because I truly believe Texas can actually win the Natty. I truly do. And I would like to keep my eye on what Colorado does, because I'm here for it. I love what Deion Sanders has done in Colorado. I think Colorado gets a lot of hate because of Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, and everything, and the celebrities that come out. I think people forget when he took over this program, they had won one fucking game. I think people forget what he's been able to do at Colorado. Turn that entire... I'm not talking about their football team. The entire campus. He's done a full 360. He's bringing so much to them. I'd like to keep an eye on them. And Army and Navy, dude. The fact that they're in the top 25, I'd be curious to see what they do. Do I expect them to be, in the college football playoffs? Absolutely not. No. But no, college football's heating up. We're gonna keep you posted on that. But I'm excited for college football. Again, college football playoffs is 12 teams. It's a money grab. It is. Brandon's not a fan of it.
No.
But we're gonna bring it to you because that's what we do. And he's going to tell you the whole way through it's a bunch of bullshit.
It is.
And it's okay. But the 12 playoff is basically just to make sure that the teams, like last year how Texas got left out, basically get in. Your Texas, you're going to be looking at your left out teams get in and possibly can make a Cinderella run.
If you capped it, Notre Dame's number 12. So we'll just run it down real quickly for you guys. Obviously, Texas 1, Oregon 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State's 4, Georgia 5, Miami 6, Bama 7, LSU's 8, Iowa State's 9, Clemson's 10, Tennessee's 11, and Notre Dame is 12. You can make an argument, BYU at 13 at 6-0. Why are they not in there? You know what? Now you're crying because BYU is undefeated.
Then you can make a case you want Boise State in there. So it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough.
25.
You said you wanted. I don't know if we talked about this before, but I'm pretty sure we did. You didn't want a 12, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
Give me 8, and I rock with that.
If you look at the 8 teams, Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, Bama, and LSU, you can make a really strong argument that those are probably going to be a lot of the teams that move on out of the first round anyways when it comes time. Now, anything can happen in the first round. There might be could be a potential upset because you have the seedings, but in the second round you really won't have upsets.
No.
And then in the semifinals, you won't have that. Those will be the best games, which is the top 4 teams.
Yep. Like
normal, and then obviously the college football championship game, which is potentially, hopefully, the best game of them all. But when we're going to have the Cinderella team of the 10 team going against Texas, which would be Clemson versus Texas. No, we don't want to see that. Like, we want to see Texas versus Ohio State.
Do you think... I'm going to ask you this real quick. This will be our last question on college football. If the college football playoffs at 12 looks bad, do you think college will go back and change it, or do you think they're going to stick with the format?
They're going to stick with the format. Like you said, there's too much money to be had with 12 teams because you get to space it out between all the bowl games and all the television, all the TV deal. The money. Yeah. It's a big money grab, but it makes more people more happy because you're just not going to be stuck with the same.
Oh my God, your Bama's, your Clemson, Ohio State. Yeah, so
you're going to get more teams, which I'm here for that. But like, really though, it's going to be the same.
Does it really matter at the end of the day?
It's going to be the same, like 1 through like 5 teams normally, like it normally is.
But all right, so like I said, we'll stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on that. Moving over to the NFL. Now, before we get to the news that you want to talk about, I want to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So the Philadelphia Eagles played the Cleveland Browns last weekend, and you would have thought the Eagles should have blown the doors off the Cleveland Browns.
You would have thought.
And that's not really what got it. I think it was 20-16 was the final score. And the Philadelphia Eagle fans, which they have a right to. You put out a shitty product, the fans have the right to let you know about it. Like, it's just the way it is, baby. Yep. We're Patrick Mahomes fans. Patrick's playing like ass. We've let you people know Patrick Mahomes playing like ass. But sticking with the Eagles, the fans were chanting, "Fire Nick Sirianni." Well, after the game was over and the Eagles won, Nick Sirianni, immature, stupid, dumbass self, decided he wanted to chirp at the fans. How do you feel about this whole situation in Nick Sirianni? He's not calling the offense. He's not calling the defense. He is the head coach. He's playing the game manager role. We all know the rocky relationship with him and Jalen Hurts has been very well documented by the organization trying to get those two on the same page, and it just doesn't feel like they're on the same page. You brought in Saquon Barkley from the Giants, and Saquon was looking great, and then lately it's not looked good.
He had one game against the Browns that he shouldn't have looked bad, but one game.
But what is your thoughts of all this?
I don't necessarily say that we can 100% say that Nick Sirianni does not have a hard or a heavy hand in the offense.
Okay.
Because he is an offensive coach. Yes, they brought in, in my opinion, a really good offensive-minded coach. Obviously, he doesn't have any touches on the defense.
If you go back to the previous year, you said they lost their offensive coordinator.
They lost both
and it looked bad.
It was bad. And I didn't like the OCs they brought in. Either.
And you loved everybody that they brought in during the offseason. You were a big fan.
And I think he still has a heavy hand in what the offense does and how they look. Everybody says, any player you ever ask, they say on offense, the first 15, Andy Reid especially, the first 15 plays is hella scripted. You practice it. The first 15 plays. This is what we're coming out in.
Yeah.
We don't really care what the defense comes out in. We're dictating our first 15 plays.
Yes.
It doesn't even look like they have a script.
No.
That goes 15 plays deep. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. Maybe this. Or
it almost looks like at times they're playing backyard football and they don't know how to play backyard football at times.
They're so talented on defense and offense. One of the best O-lines. They have one of the best skill positions out wide. They have Saquon Barkley, a top probably 3 running back, and they struggle to beat those
I'm not saying
Browns.
that Nick Sirianni is not a bad coach, but I think he has severely immaturity issues. You think back to last year when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs and he was screaming, yeah, blah, 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 screaming at you.
You were so close. No, he's a bad head coach.
Oh, okay.
He's a bad head coach.
Speak it. Let it out.
You're supposed to be mature. How is your locker room? Because he is young. Yes. But there's been young head coaches in the league, and they don't have these maturity issues. They know they have to show maturity, even if they in themselves they want to act a different way. If me as a player, I see my head coach,
fans are chanting "fire you."
Well, if I'm a 25-year-old player, fresh out of college, couple years, and my 8-year-old head coach, so you're 13 years older than me, and you're yelling at the fans, telling them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, it's not good look for you.
How do you like that? How am I really supposed to respect you? You're only 12 years older than me. Like the age gap's pretty close. Like, how am I supposed to, when you're yelling at me, take you seriously, or what you're trying to tell me, take it seriously when you can't even
do it yourself.
Do it yourself, or actually hold down the locker room. So I think he's a bad coach.
So
I think he's a bad mentor of men.
How hot is his seat? Like, how hot is it? Because to me, I think it's got to be hot at this point. Like he's treading water, right? Like,
hang on, give me one. Who do they got this week? Or they got if they lose to the Giants, that thing's flaming. That thing's flaming.
Lose to the Giants, dog. We got issues.
It's a division rival. It's a biggest must-win of the year for them. They're 3-2. You lose your 3-3, and the Commanders are starting to run away with it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's hot. You have not looked good. You look unorganized, and that's not.
And that's on the head coach. That's a head coach.
The scheme, the defense to me still looks good. Obviously, they held the Browns to the 16 points. So the defense to me still looks good. The offense, on the other hand, does not. And I don't think the OC should be the scapegoat. I think
it's the head coach.
He will be losing his job. If they do not look good, I can see he be.
So you're saying if they beat the Giants, but it's kind of like they did against the Browns, Nick Sirianni's in big trouble. Like if they beat the Giants,
still very warm. But if they lose, it's flaming.
He's up out of there.
You charcoal.
Yeah, okay.
You charcoal because you can't.
Let us know what you think about the Nick Sirianni situation. Like I said, it's not a good look. I'm going to stay away from the trade deadline. We're going to move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers because I know this has got you really in your feelings, pissed off. If you don't know by now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have pretty much announced that Russell Wilson is back. And he's going to be the starter?
Maybe.
And Justin Fields has got them out to a 4-2 start, and the 2 losses really weren't on him. He's got 1 interception on the total year. They've let him out of the bag, but I will tell you this. Justin Fields came out and said that he hasn't played good because if he played better, that wouldn't be a question. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean you haven't played good? I love the maturity and the accountability that he has taken. He's not letting it get to him. I know deep down inside it's probably bro, we're 4-2 and you're going to, I know a lot of people want to say you don't lose your job to injury, but we're talking about Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, potential Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner.
So, get it off your chest, because I know this has got you.
And he was guaranteed the starting job when he went there.
Yes.
So he deserved to have his job.
And we both felt like, Fields was going to learn behind Russell Wilson would be a good opportunity, but then the injury, you saw Justin Fields get on the field, and you're like, damn. And then you watch Chicago, if you guys don't know, because Fields came from Chicago, and you're watching Fields, you're like, I don't think Justin Fields was the problem in Chicago. That's how I feel, and that's how you feel too.
How I feel too.
But now the Steelers are 4-2, and now you're telling me going into this coming week against the New York Jets that you're going to pretty possibly bench Justin Fields for Russell Wilson. What did you say this week? You kind of hope Russell Wilson just flames the fuck out
because I'm a big Justin Fields fan.
Yes,
I'm glad the Bears moved him. I'm glad he actually learned with the Steelers. That's where I wanted him to land, anyways.
With Mike Tomlin,
never
had a losing season in 17 years. Go ahead, continue.
Especially after they landed Russell Wilson, I'm like, good. Sit behind a similar type of quarterback, a mobile quarterback he's just a younger Russell Wilson, but maybe a better athlete overall, and probably in a stronger arm and is taller. So I was like, cool, yeah, sit behind Russell Wilson 5-6 weeks, and then make the trade, or not make the trade, but then put Justin Fields in there.
Yeah.
Well, he got injured, and then we got to see Justin Fields out on the field, and you can see that they tampered him down, and the playbook that he was allowed to have was not as much. And as the week has gone on, they've given him more and more. And honestly, he's behind a crappy O-line.
Yeah.
And I just don't necessarily know if Russell Wilson will be able to make up for the lack of talent they have on the O-line, let alone the weapons they have out wide. I mean, yes, sure, Pickens, he's a great talent, but he struggles at times in the immaturity that he has there when he's not getting the ball.
And it's unfortunate because I like George Pickens.
And so I think the Steelers have their guy. I don't understand the confusion there, but to me, put Russell Wilson out there. You're going against the Jets.
Does this hurt Justin Fields? Is his confidence? He said the right things.
I don't think you can hurt your confidence any more than what you had with the Bears getting traded and then being kind of built up, and now you're putting me on the bench. If I was him, I'm like, really? You're going to do this to me? Cool. Go out there, Russell Wilson, because I know I can outperform you. I think Justin Fields is very confident in himself.
Well, I also feel like the team is behind Justin Fields.
I think the team is behind
the
Justin
defense,
Fields.
TJ especially is behind.
I don't want Justin Fields to start or see the field against the Jets. You're splitting number 1 team reps.
So you're saying Russell Wilson, start to finish, play the fun game, don't care how you look, you stay in that game because...
Pretty much. And if I'm with you on the bench, I'm like, we lost? Damn,
not me.
That sucks. I didn't lose. You
Because
you
the 2
lost.
losses that they have...
That's not on him.
Has not been on him. It has not been on him.
They've been good games. They've been close games. He's a young quarterback that gets a great defense. That has a great defense behind him with 2 stud running backs, and not necessarily studs, but Najee and Warren are both very capable backs. But the O-line is very questionable. His receiving core is not very good. He has a very talented Pickens. Freiermuth is a very up-and-coming young tight end. But he doesn't have the talent around him like some of the other quarterbacks have. But
he doesn't have the talent that he would have if he pretty much stayed in Chicago. If he would have stayed in Chicago, that they have. Yeah,
you could say if he was like with the Lions or with the Packers.
Well, who would have thought the Steelers would have been 4-2? Think about it. Like you really look at that. You really look at them like 4-2. Like goddamn. But okay, yeah. So
if I'm a Justin Fields, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm like, don't call my number. Let Russell Wilson finish this beginning to end. You want to split my reps? I'm cool. I'm a team player. He's saying everything right.
Yes, he is. Which I love that.
And honestly, if I'm him, I don't want to see him touch the field against the Jets. Let the Jets beat the dog shit out of him. Look bad and be like, so this is my job, right?
Yeah.
Because Russell Wilson is not young Wilson. If he was younger Russell Wilson with the same legs as Justin Fields, then maybe.
Yeah.
But Dan Orlovsky of ESPN made a good point last week against the Broncos. They didn't show up on the stats, but he came up with 150 hidden yards, as meaning the line broke down, and he skipped out of the pocket, he extended the play, or whether he rushed for it or not, but he extended the play out of the pocket, saving a sack, stepping up. He was I think he said 150 yards. Russell Wilson, can't do that anymore. No. He's not mobile enough to do that anymore, and he will take the unnecessary sacks. And rely more on the defense, and your offense will be less explosive.
He's more of an over glorified game manager.
He's what people. Yeah, he's
the definition.
When people say game manager, he makes that a bad term.
Yeah. So, but we'll have to see how that plays out. I agree with everything Brandon said. Again, let us know how you feel about that. But let's go ahead and move on to not the trade dead stuff that happened for trades. I want to move on to the Tom Brady situation. So Tom Brady was granted minority ownership in both franchises for the Vegas. He is now minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders and the Las Vegas Aces. There's a lot of restrictions on Tom Brady if you want to go ahead and hit them on the nail.
Some of you might not know, but I'll let you all know. Brady is an announcer now.
Yes, broadcasting.
Yeah, and he's still figuring that part out. But his restrictions, since he is a broadcaster, and he got the minority stake in the Raiders, which he obviously now has, he's not permitted to be in another team facility, not permitted to witness any practice, not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, either in person or virtually, which to me that makes your job almost virtually impossible. Prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials from other clubs, which is kind of your job as an announcer to not necessarily come at the club, but definitely come at the officials when they make a bad call. It's kind of like one of your favorite parts. Even as a fan, you criticize. Yep.
So
that's going to be really hard to do. And then subject to NFL's gambling policy, so not allowed to gamble, and you're in Vegas, that sucks.
Yep.
And then subjected to NFL's anti-tampering policy.
Yes. So the question becomes, with all these restrictions, should Brady just walk away from broadcasting?
There's a lot of money, so no. Because you're not gonna walk. He could be the worst broadcaster ever, as long as he can get that. You're not gonna walk away from, what was it, $100 million?
I think it was $130 million.
But he's not gonna walk away from that. To me, the hardest one though is it's not that you're not allowed in other team facilities.
How are you supposed to prepare
practice? But you're not allowed. You're not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings.
So how am I supposed to?
Either in person or virtually. So how are you really supposed to be able to do your job? That's the hard part. And honestly,
Brady got to figure that out.
No, we don't. That's on the. Oh man,
ESPN or whoever.
I think it's
Fox.
I think it's CBS.
CBS.
I think CBS that might have him. I don't know, guys. You check me on that one. But I think CBS. That's on the network that is paying him. That's on them to figure out how to be able to help them prepare for the upcoming game, because he's not allowed to be in there. That's the biggest one.
Okay, so he's got all those restrictions, and now we do know that Brady is going to be a very hands-on minority owner, and it's...
Well, but see, I don't understand that. You do realize minority means you have a small percentage, you have a small stake.
He wants in on the podcast.
I bet you wants to speak. Nobody wants to talk to you.
There's been a lot of rumors that he's going to try to bring Belichick into the organization as their next head coach. Which is kind of weird, because considering that they just gave, Adam a chance to be the... So, I don't know.
The Raiders head coach.
Raiders head coach, Adam Pierce.
It's Pierce.
Pierce. So, like, I don't know. Like, what does this mean? Like, obviously, the actual owner... Antonio Pierce. They've given him the ability to, kind of go about this. But now Tom Brady's in here and...
That's why I thought that was kind of weird. Like, I want Bill Belichick. I agree and not want Bill Belichick.
A lot of people believe with the relationship that Brady has with Shedeur Sanders, could the Raiders possibly go and target Shedeur Sanders in this upcoming draft?
No,
which I hope they don't, because I love Shedeur Sanders and I want to like him.
Leave Travis Hunter alone, but like that, they need a quarterback. The Raiders, I think Antonio Pierce is the right guy, and I think they have the right stepping stones on defense. And offensively, they have some studs at tight end. They have a decent O-line. Brock Powers, that tight end, the rookie they drafted.
He's looking great, by the way.
With a no-name quarterback. So if they could get a quarterback in there, that's why Devontae Adams left. So if they get a quarterback in there, I think they'll be on the right rebuilding path with Antonio Pierce.
But I guess really, like you said,
don't give up on Antonio Pierce.
But what is your actual thoughts of, like, he's a minority owner? He's not the owner, minority owner. He has a small share, but he is going to be very hands-on, and they're going to give him a lot of...
Well, they're going to give him...
It's Tom Brady, so like...
that's great. But you're going to let his voice probably carry more weight than his percentage allows. Because it's not like he's...
Do you like that? He's a 7-time Super Bowl winner.
Fuck.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Done, but he. To a degree, I would take his input, because he knows the game of football. He's a very intelligent football player. Okay. And so you have to give some of it, like, not necessarily coaching. I don't care what you think about coaches. I don't care. Give me your thoughts more on, like, players. And
they're
schemes.
Drafting, because the Raiders have been bad at drafting.
And like coaches that you see that like you like to have how they run, have the schemes how they run, and like have him around the team. I think it'd be more like he'd be around the team more.
Okay.
And that demeanor of like the quote unquote Patriots way.
Okay.
But like
that's fair.
A lot softer.
Like I said, I'd be curious to see how this...
Bay Brady. It's a lot softer. Yes. Bo.
Damn, Bo. Easy there, boy. I'd just be curious to see how this plays, especially with him in the broadcast. We'll have to see how this goes with all the restrictions. And
he's already struggling now, and he's not going to be now allowed to be.
Now, it's only going to get worse for him, so we'll see how this
Well, we get him this weekend.
Yes, we do.
The Chiefs and Niners.
Niners. But now moving on to our favorite part of our episode. We had some big trades that went on. And we're not going to talk about all of them. We're going to talk about the two biggest ones. And we're going to start with one that was kind of under the radar first. The Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills, which a lot of people thought Amari Cooper was going to land with our Kansas City Chiefs.
Well,
he did not, but Buffalo only gave up a third and a seventh-round pick. That's a motherfucking steal for Amari Cooper.
Well, they got a 6th back.
Yes, they did.
So they swapped their 7 for their 6 and gave up a 3 for Amari Cooper on an expiring deal, which paying him little to nothing. The Bills did turn around and release MVS, obviously, for the roster.
So I have to say this real quick, though. If you had Amari Cooper on your fantasy team, I would insert him into your flex.
Trade him away immediately. Garbage. Trash.
I put him right into my starting lineup, baby. But what do you make of this move by Buffalo? Like you have to be very encouraged that Buffalo actually pulled the motherfucking trigger. Like, right? You have to be like...
Well, I thought Buffalo needed... It was very obvious when Josh Allen threw the ball 40 times and had 9 completions. No interceptions, though, so kudos to him. But went 9 of 40. It was a very obviously needed kind of like that number one guy, that stud. But it also goes to show that they really do think... Because I think they think that their window is open. There's potential that they could actually make a push...
Yes.
For the Super Bowl this year. in the AFC, especially with the Kings, the reigning champs, being very wounded offensively and potentially maybe the Chiefs were in.
But when you look at the Amari Cooper trade,
it was dimes on the dollar. Like, it was a great trade.
Well, they don't have to pay him a whole lot of fucking money because the Browns converted a lot of the money.
$20 million of it into a signing bonus to make him very tradable.
You think about how the Bills have had to go younger.
No, hang on. So go ahead. I want to put a little pin in that.
Get it.
So beginning the offseason, the Browns made Amari Cooper pretty much his whole contract a signing bonus. So he was really making veteran minimum. It was like $980-some thousand. So it made him very tradable, very easy on the salary cap.
Yeah.
So what?
Nothing. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So it made it very easy to trade. They did that during the offseason. Did they already plan to be bad? They already planned to move off of Amari Cooper? Like, otherwise, why do that if you thought you were going to
think about what they did. You think about what they did with Deshaun Watson's contract. Took away some clauses.
Well, that was just because they were hoping to get out of the guaranteed money. That had nothing to do with them being bad or good. Because coming into the season, they converted his money to a signing bonus.
Well, I think there might have been
salary cap hit.
I think coming into the season, I think there might have been some feelings between Amari Cooper and the Cleveland Browns. Like,
well, obviously he wasn't going to stay.
No.
Like, he wasn't going to resign.
Well, he wanted a deal anyway. You heard it going into the offseason. Well, he was looking for a deal, and the Browns weren't willing to
be paid. And so they're like, okay, we'll just give you your money now, and then we'll make you a tradable asset. Why am I trying to make you a tradable asset? I'm trying to win. The defense supposedly supposed to be a championship-winning defense with Myles Garrett. You have your franchise, quote-unquote, quarterback in Deshaun Watson guaranteed deal. 50-50. And you have Nick Chubb.
You are a better franchise quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Let's keep it above.
Nick Chubb coming back, potentially this week from a very
gruesome knee injury.
Yes. So potentially you should have been playoff bound. Why did they make Amari Cooper tradable? Or do they already know that they were going to suck?
I think a lot of it had to do with Amari Cooper. Kind of was done with the organization. I think a lot of it had more to do with...
I'm glad they paid Jerry Jeudy then, huh?
Yeah.
They traded for and then paid him or Amari
I just think this had a lot more to do with Amari. I think he was fed up. I think what he thought was going to be with the Cleveland Browns didn't pan out. Again, let's take it back here a little bit.
Well, first he got traded there, so he didn't.
Yes, he did. So the Cowboys traded him to the Cleveland Browns for a 5th-round pick. They got a 5th-round pick in return. So think about it. The Cowboys traded him.
That was just trying to dump the contract because they needed.
And then now he gets traded for basically a 3rd and a 7th, and then with a 6th in return.
Yes, basically a 3rd-round pick.
So again, if you go back, let's go back to when they got Deshaun Watson. When everybody thought Deshaun Watson was, obviously with this time in Houston, the upside was pretty high.
He was supposed to be a top 5 quarterback.
It just hasn't panned out. And I think Amari Cooper, he wants to win. I think he's
like 30, 31 now.
So, and I think he wanted to win. And, I mean, his name was thrown around with Kansas City. And obviously he landed with Buffalo, which I'm happy for Amari Cooper landing with Buffalo. You're landing with the top 3 quarterback in a league in Josh Allen.
Well, they already have a connection. They already played, and Josh Allen threw the ball out of bounds.
Amari Cooper he got it out of bounds, baby. So, again, I'm happy for Amari Cooper. This does move the needle in the right direction for the Buffalo Bills, and it also helps their wide receiver rookie that they drafted,
and Keenan Coleman,
who's not had issues. I don't want to say issues, but he's a young dude. He's young.
I think,
and bringing in Amari Cooper, who is a dude that went to Alabama under Nick Saban. Understands what it means to be a pro's pro.
Yes.
He's a veteran now and wants to win.
Yes, well, I agree with all that, but, you should not really answer my question because, Amari Cooper might wanted out. Obviously, he was not resigning.
I think Amari Cooper wanted out.
Well, I think he wanted yes, he wanted out.
You would have won out, too, if you were the
Cleveland Browns. He wasn't going to stay there. But even if he wasn't going to stay there, just like T. Higgins isn't going to stay with the Bengals, they can't pay him.
No, they
didn't. The same way the Browns could have paid Amari,
but they chose Jerry Jeudy, who's who's the bust.
But they still weren't going to pay.
No,
Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper wasn't going to take no money from them because he didn't want to be there, like you just said. But why convert his money to a signing bonus? Pay him to make him more tradable before the season even started.
The
Browns already knew they were trash. The Browns already knew they were in trouble.
The Browns are in big trouble, and we talked about it last week of what you thought.
The Browns knew before the season started they were in trouble, and they were already going to move off of Amari Cooper.
And they moved and gave him his money.
Small upset that maybe they were going to be good.
So, speaking of, obviously, the AFC, and you believe that they have, how big of a needle pusher do you give this for the Buffalo Bills? What grade do you give?
I think they lock in their division. I think this locks their division in. So, like, the defense they are bringing with them, they was been banged up, but it's getting healthier. And you brought up Keenan Coleman. I think this helps Shakir out a lot.
Shakir, their tight ends, their running game.
It's going to help Dalton Kincaid out as well, but it's going to help Shakir. He
also gives Josh Allen a
safety blanket.
But
he can definitely rely on give it a couple weeks. Get to your bye week if I'm Buffalo. It might be a little too far out, but I think it's going to open up Shakir and Kincaid, even Keenan Coleman. Keenan Coleman, I think, is going to be able to learn a lot, like you were.
I think he's going to. He's so genuine as a person.
But Shakir to me was kind of put into that supposed to be the number one guy.
Yeah,
he's a solid slot number 2 guy. Very fast. Reminds me a lot of Wes Welker and Julian Edelman type, but a lot quicker. And he doesn't drop a lot of balls either. So I think, honestly, their offense is looking really scary. James Cook's going to be coming back. I think it pushes the needle very strongly. And honestly,
the division's a wrap. So
I think it honestly gives them more firepower than what... I think why they made this move, in my opinion, is because Kansas City offense came down with so many...
You couldn't let Kansas City get Amari Cooper. Like, you had to make the phone call.
They were... After they beat the Jets, they saw where they were. They saw where the Chiefs obviously undefeated, but everybody smells blood in the water when it comes to Kansas City.
Yes.
Nobody's willing to help Kansas City out wide receiver-wise.
No.
And so I think the Bills, seeing that they, in a weak AFC, potentially with Kansas City just being in the way in Baltimore.
But I think they also knew Kansas City was, again... What we were told, speaking of our Kansas City Chiefs, they were not willing to. They don't want to let go of their draft capital because we've been so good at drafting late in the round. They didn't want to give up a lot of that capital.
But it also
Patrick Mahomes even said that these guys in the locker room, they won the games. They've been here the moment. They trust the guy.
Help when the previous year we won with lesser talent at wide receiver.
So, but speaking of another wide receiver that was moved, not really a shocker. No. Devontae Adams is a New York Jet. I was wrong. I will admit to you guys, I have to say sorry again. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm glad.
Too many times I've had to say fucking sorry this week. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit.
Enjoy you saying sorry.
I'm not enjoying it. But Devontae Adams landed with the New York Jets, and I'm going to say that my piece real quick before I turn this over to you. Devontae Adams is a Jet. Does it move the needle for the Jets as a whole? No. Does it move the needle for Aaron Rodgers as a motherfucking safety blanket, a guy that he believes in a 2-minute drill, it's just going to be those two motherfuckers? Yeah. Do I believe that this helps Garrett Wilson become a better wide receiver? Yes. But I also believe it hurts Garrett Wilson at the same time because we were all been waiting to see Garrett Wilson break the motherfucker out. And I don't know if we're going to get that now that Devontae Adams is there because last time we saw Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams together, what did we see? Aaron Rodgers just force-feed that motherfucker. Devontae Adams down there somewhere. I don't give a fuck if he's covered by all 11 guys.
All right, so I disagree on the Garrett Wilson part. I think it will help Garrett Wilson's development the same way we think.
I do think it's going to help him develop, but I think seeing that break out...
It's going to take the pressure off of him trying to be the guy. I think it's going to help him read... Travis Kelce, he reads the secondary, and him and Mahomes read it the same. I think it's going to help Garrett Wilson because he has all the talent in the world.
Let's reiterate. If you don't know, the Jets fired their head coach, promoted another offensive coordinator. Or defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Defensive coordinator. They lose to the fucking Bills Monday Night Football. And then that same day, Monday Night Football, they traded for Devontae, but the trade wasn't finalized until Tuesday. If you guys didn't know that already. And so, it's just they're 2-4. You get Devontae Adams, you're 2-4, dog.
Well, it's early. It's 6 weeks in.
You're 2-4.
6 weeks in. And I honestly,
you already said that the Bills wrapped up the division by getting Amari Cooper.
Yes, I don't think they're going to win the division because
obviously the Patriots ass Dolphins. We don't even need to speak of that. So it's Jets, Bills, Jets.
Well, like you said, they only have 2 wins, and the Bills have 4. They're 4-2. I don't see the Bills stumbling down the road, especially Amari Cooper's going to help their offense. They're a walk-on team, obviously, is what I'm saying. I don't know where it pushes the needle for them because offensively. They looked a lot better Monday.
Yeah,
Monday night they looked a lot better.
Well, the run game, Breece Hall was going.
I think they made a. I don't understand the Jets what they're doing because firing the head coach didn't help anything because when you promoted the DC,
it was the same fucking
with
thing.
The head coach that was a defensive minded guy. So I don't know how that helps you. outside of maybe nobody in the locker room liked him or he lost the locker room.
Well, do you think it had more to do with Aaron Rodgers? Their relationship wasn't...
If you would say Aaron Rodgers is the alpha in the locker room and people fall in line behind him, and he was supposed to fall in line behind Robert Saleh, and he wasn't, then like he has to go. Because that's kind of how it works, hand in hand. Your quarterback and head coach are kind of hand in hand.
I have to ask you this, though, because AFC. AFC. Raiders, AFC. Jets, AFC. Were you shocked that they made AFC? You weren't shocked at all? Just because of the knowing where you're at?
Yeah. The Raiders know that they're...
Real quick, though, if you guys didn't know, obviously Devontae was traded for a third-round pick, but it's good. It can become a second-round pick, and it will become a second-round pick theoretically.
Playing time and like the accolades he gets, and if they make the playoffs, which I think we all still. That's just the thing is Aaron Rodgers might not be the Aaron Rodgers of 2 or 3 years ago, but that Jets defense is still a top 10 unit.
Yes,
and they now have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, who looked semi back to form, actually getting the touches. And you're going to have Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Rodgers throwing you the ball, you should win games. Now, in 2 weeks, it might be a different story. That's when we can really see what happens. Because there's no getting adjusted, period. And I think the offense did look a lot.
Well, they got Nathaniel Hackett there, which is a familiar face from the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, but he's not calling the plays.
No, he's not. He's not calling the plays.
It's a big improvement. But they did already come out and say that Mike Williams will be traded or cut.
Yeah.
Because apparently he ran the wrong route.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers publicly criticized him to the media, which I had a big problem with because... And a lot of people criticize me this on TikTok because I made a video saying about this is why I have a problem with Aaron Rodgers and his devianess, outing his players to the media. And if people came at me like, well, why is that a problem? I want to remind you, if you were a Kansas City Chiefs fan or just watched the Kansas City Chiefs last year, our wide receivers couldn't catch motherfucking shit. And Patrick Mahomes went out there every year, got in this goddamn microphone, and he was asked, like, I got to be better, got to do better. But behind closed doors...
Well, we can only assume what the words was going on. But that's how... But he kept that's the difference in leadership, though. Yes. Because Mahomes, maybe to the media, he never criticizes them, but we all know... This thing is...
That's my thing. Like, he did it behind closed doors, regardless if it happened or not.
MVS for the Chiefs last year had big drops.
Yes.
And then when did we
Tooney, big drops. Everybody big drops. Yes. Everybody had big drops.
Tooney does not fit what I'm saying.
Travis Kelce to everybody.
Well, not really Travis Kelce, but but MVS in particular had big drops in key moments in games. And when we needed him the most in the Ravens to clinch it,
they were there because Patrick instilled the confidence throughout the regular season. That's my problem with Rodgers. Rather how you feel about Mike Evans ran the wrong route or not, you don't out him. You just take the blame, take the accountability behind closed doors. Like, I need you to be better. You need to be better. Handle it. But Rodgers has never done that. He's done that to Devontae Adams too.
But isn't that more on Rodgers not showing up to OTAs, not showing up to mandatory minicamp?
Thank you. I said that too. But people wanted to come at me like, look, I get what Rodgers is as a talent. But when it comes to leadership, there's levels to this shit, man. I'm sorry.
There's just something.
I would never put Aaron Rodgers on the leadership of an Eli, a Peyton, Patrick Mahomes, all those guys, because those guys, at the end of the day, didn't criticize their guys in key moments. They did it behind closed doors, rather they did it behind closed doors or not.
Like the only quarterback in our lifetime.
Rodgers was throwing his own mama under the goddamn bus, if that's what it meant, bro.
I think in our lifetime of very old, that you could ever think of a quarterback actually throwing their teammates under the bus.
Yes, Rodgers, 100%.
Like I can't think.
And he's done it to Devontae Adams too.
That's great, but if you sit there and think there's no, because your quarterback's your franchise guy. He's your cornerstone.
You get all the glory and you take all the fall.
He's like your head coach B. Like you have your head coach.
He's your point guard,
and then you have your other head coach. Well, no, but you have your other head coach, and neither one of them is supposed to throw anybody underneath the bus. They both take the blame for the win, the losses, and get all glory, and they don't get really any of the glory when they win. And to me, I can't think of any quarterback that threw and drove the bus over players as much as Aaron Rodgers has done in his whole entire career. Yes. Whether it's been head coaches, GMs.
I just tell you, people, go back and look back at how many times he's thrown people on the bus. And I get it. I know what a talent he is.
You don't have to go back.
Just look. It's in there.
Had the most recent one, and Mike Williams is out the door. And honestly, he didn't look great. He's a ABS type player to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, you wanted Mike Williams on the Chiefs when he got cut from the Chargers?
Yeah, I did. I thought.
No.
I
said
did.
No. I still say no because he did.
Well, I don't want him now. I mean,
now.
No, I don't want him now. I mean, send him to the Carolina Panthers, baby. They need somebody down there. They need all the help they can get.
Well, since we're talking on trades, I'm not quite sure what you got down there, but since we're talking on trades, Kansas City's still looming. Well, I think you and I both agree that if they really are meaning that three-peat.
Devontae Adams is still. DeAndre Hopkins is still out there. Sorry.
Okay, that's
DeAndre
great.
Hopkins is still out there.
So if you out of all the wide receivers that you know that are potentially out there that's available, and Brett Veach has been known to push chips all in.
Yes.
Frank Clark was one of them. He pushed chips all in.
Yes.
Gave a first-round pick.
Love Frank Clark. Uzi Frank Clark, baby.
Okay, is there any player, any wide? Because obviously it'd be wide receiver. Do you think there's a wide receiver out there that you see the Chiefs going and getting at the trade deadline? Now, the 49ers game is going to be very pivotal. Coming off our bye week,
yep.
The Niners are a great defensive team.
As they talked about on their podcast, have lost 4 straight times to our Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, and they're out for revenge for the Super Bowl. And now
this is their Super Bowl again.
George Kittle is now 0-2 in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And again, now the third team we're facing this year that this is, I guess the fourth, because this was apparently the Falcons Super Bowl, but we had the Bengals, Ravens, and then apparently the Falcons, okay, I guess. But now we had the 49ers.
Yep.
However the game turns out, do you think the Chiefs make a move at the deadline for a skilled position player, a la, a wide receiver? Because we don't need tight end and running back.
Listening to Patrick Mahomes do his press conference talk about, honestly, I don't think he wants to repeat last year's struggles. How I personally feel, I do think they need to make a move just because.
I'm not asking about your personal feelings. I'm asking what do you think.
But do I think they will? No, because I've heard Andy Reid say we're not going to bring nobody in for the Packers squad. I like the guys we have. I've heard Patrick Mahomes do his press conference. These guys, they've won games. They've been in the trenches. I personally think the Chiefs don't make a trade, but if they were to make a trade, I do think it's D-Hop. I do think it's D-Hop. Or it's Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers.
Your pick, you ass.
Sorry, I'm okay.
Yes,
go ahead.
that was mine. That was my hot take. Was Deontay Johnson off the Panthers because they're in the rebuild mode. They're already said they're moving off Bryce Young. He's just there to get beat up.
Free Bryce Young, dog. Free Bryce Young.
He's only there to get beat up to save Andy Dalton, I guess, with that battle line. I don't know Deontay Johnson's contract. I don't know what the money looks like. But if you're really all in and a top-tier talent like that, a young guy like that you can pair with Rashee Rice and a rookie contract, Rashee Rice is still on. And who knows what he's going to look like next year because he has his speeding ticket.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming up to probably.
And I do believe that you think
probably about 3 games.
Yeah.
But he's also going to be out still probably going into the season with his knee injury that Mahomes gave him. That'd be a really strong move to really show to back your quarterback. Let's go get this three-peat. Yeah. I believe that because this is make or break because no one's ever done it.
Nope.
So I think Deontay Johnson, Hopkins to me is a possibility, but I think it's a very solid.
That move should have happened a couple years ago, theoretically.
Well, that's not Hopkins. Now you could fix it by trading for him. And that'd be more of a trade deadline move because of his salary cap would be way less by then.
Yeah.
But how much better that makes them, how much it just kind of depends. It's kind of to me like Kareem Hunt. When we brought him back, let me see it. Like, do you have that acceleration? You have that twitchiness, which Kareem Hunt does. And if we don't make a move for a wide receiver, as in the Chiefs, we're going to be grinding.
Like I said, I think that the trade deadline's heating up. There's a lot of guys out there that could possibly move. We'll have to see how it goes. But we're going to bring all that stuff to you guys. Like, it's heating up. The season's getting great. Well, like I said, we're getting ready to go into Week 7. Our Kansas City Chiefs have that matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. If you guys don't know, the 49ers, Debo, George Kittle, they have a podcast. And they talked about it. Like, these are the games that you live for. Like, we have not been able to beat these guys. And we've had and think about it. They've had us on the ropes, and they've blown it. So,
well, when you're equal on both ends of the field, offense and defense, it comes down to who has the better head coach and quarterback.
Yeah.
But obviously we have the better of both.
We'll have to stay tuned. We're gonna bring you that guy. We're gonna bring you that stuff.
Is there any matchups coming this week that intrigue you at all?
Well, there is the Chiefs and the Niners game that we've already peeked about.
We touched about.
Let's see what
Lions Vikings.
Yes, because the Vikings are undefeated. You and I have kind of been on record saying that we don't know how much we believe in the Vikings, and this is the game where we are going to find out.
Even with the Lions losing Hutchinson to that gruesome,
and they are keeping an eye. And again, don't know. They are keeping an eye on the Hassan Reddick situation, who was granted a limited amount of time to seek a trade. But there's also been a lot of rumbling about Max Crosby and the 49ers giving up...
Yeah, some weird...
Or sorry, not the 49ers. The Lions giving up 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick to get Max Crosby to Detroit, which, again, that would be fucking crazy.
I'm here for that for the Lions, so, like, go do it. That game I definitely have earmarked. That's at noon.
Outside of that, no. Like, those
the Seahawks-Falcons game, I'm kind of intrigued about to see... For me, it's more for the Falcons, Kirk Cousins. That swag they got going down there. And
ATL right now.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm here for that. The Packers and Texans game. Now, that's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, that's good.
There's no defense.
And I'm also here for, too, the Steelers and Jets. Because of if you do go with Russell Wilson, like, I want to see what it looks like. And with Devontae Adams, obviously hamstring, good to go, ready to play. He's not hurt no more. He's ready to go.
What? You telling me that hamstring healthy?
He healthy, baby.
Really, I'm kind of surprised you skipped over. Never mind, I misread that one. And then you have the Ravens and Bucks. That's going to be a good game at the Monday night. Well, we have 2 What's with us having so many Monday night games? 2. Why is there 2 teams on Monday night?
I don't know.
Can't handle keeping
But
up
let
with all
us
that.
know what game you're looking forward to this week, guys. We're curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on these games. We got a lot of things coming up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week.